I am Mr. Rarua, Mr. Rarua Shem, and I have been involved in the independence struggle for Vanuatu a little over 10 years before we were independent in 1980, around the 60s, 70s, and July 1980 we were independent, and Vanuatu was then under France and England. When I grew up, I was told that after that, during the 1950s, 53s, I was already about 13 years old, and I hear my parents, who were also the great followers of the church, the Presbyterian Church, they were talking about the independence for the church, Presbyterian Church, Vanuatu's or New Hebrides churches of the Presbyterian Board Mission Board, and they were also talking about building up a school where scholars would go and learn about what independence is all about. That's political independence. And so I got involved with that because my great-grandfathers, my father's close families have been jailed lifetime. So I became curious about what is this independence about. And that's how I came to be involved in taking the leadership of the northern part of town of the New Hebrides, then Santo. I was leading the Luganville community to do anti-nuclear testing in Mururoa in Tahiti. That we anti-French. Not really anti-French, is pollution. And then second thing was that again, the public works were washing the dusty roads near our front line, the buildings. The main town was still in the earth, gravel, they call it white road, like gravel, and when you wash down dust with seawater, it makes the vehicles rust faster than it would normally with the seawater. And we think that that was not fair to the road taxpayers who would lose their vehicles in 1 or 2 years and have to buy another one. They don't make money that way, so it got me a bit infuriated. They came up and grabbed me, took me to the station, locked my hands behind my back. My brother got dragged into the town, saved me, and they locked his hand behind his back and beat me to the floor, booted me around. I fell down dead, and 9 o'clock in the morning until 3 o'clock in the afternoon, when I woke up, I found my hands bound behind my back, and I couldn't see. My eyes were swollen down to here. I was taken to jail, and I stayed for a month. That's when my family got the word in Port Vila, and they lodged the biggest ever demonstration to the French resident commissioner. At the time, the highest of authority in here would be the French resident commissioner or the British resident commissioner who resides at the Iririki Island. And the French residence is where the Prime Minister's office is. That's where the big demonstration was staged. Some of those slogans like Court of Appeal, we want the Court of Appeal. I would not appeal because I would not have a chance. There's no legislation that the natives can appeal. So we need Court of Appeal. So that was one of the talking on the placard. I am not an animal beating up. To be beaten up. They carry that free Shem. I am not an animal to be beaten up like so. You can see that the film is taken by an Australian friend who was working with me. He's quite fast in moving the camera around because at the time there's a feeling that somebody out of the top could shoot any of the leaders who are leading this, because you can see how he's moving the camera very quickly up the building, down and around and around. He was fearing that anybody could shoot at the time. The tension was not the locals, somebody from the other parties who did not want us to be independent. The French mobile, they've got the red caps, and the British after they set up 2 barriers, they have to go through before they get to the door of the French resident commissioner, and he was feeling very unsafe, actually. But because there's so many people outside, they didn't have any stones or some things to threaten him. It's just they came barehanded, just to say that they wanted me to be set free from prison. Taking the awareness really at a shock takeoff, like, there's something not right here. I mean, there's the people in they beat me up unconscious. That story went downtown, and I lay down unconscious for some hours. If I was dead, it wouldn't matter. That was the part that people, yes, well, there's something really wrong here. They waited outside the building, this building, while he communicated the word to the police force in Santo to release me. I was released, I went to home, but the demonstration people want me to talk on the teleradio in the police station that I'm free. I said, I'm free. They said, no, you have to talk. I have to talk in my own local language, so they can say, no, not somebody else was talking in Pidgin English. So I have to talk in my own, this island of Efate language, and they can recognize me. I named some people around who were here, and so they say, yes, this is him. So they dispersed, and at the same time I was allowed to come out of prison. That was people beginning to think that we were just nothing. And so we say, oh yes, maybe the answer to this, we have to be independent, make our own, govern our own islands. Anyway, when I came back to Vila, I was flown to Vila, I feel pressure is still around here, pressure of some other people. It was beginning to create animosities then between the two languages. It was not until then that it was realized that, oh yes, there's something in here it's not right. We had a legislative assembly elections. We didn't want those nominated people by the two metropolitan governments to represent the upper house, the chiefs. We demonstrated to say that we will have to choose those people, not nominated. I think it was would have been all right. Now I'm saying there must be an upper house. But I demonstrated to say no, it must not be at that time. Only because they branded them to be four must be French speaking, and four must be English speaking. Then we inscribed that into the constitution later, that our national language must be English and French. But at the time there was no such, so we think that it was a sin to say that those 8 chiefs, 4 must be able to talk English, and 4 must be able to talk French, must be French speakers, and 4 must be English speakers. We demonstrated, say we will demonstrate to the British and French administration representatives in Santo, but in between us getting there, the natives came in with spears and chains and wires and dispersed us, and 1 girl died, blood all over on the ground.